Hi everyone, I'm Amy Johnson-Crow. I am here today with Jane Wilcox, who is a professional genealogist. So Jane, you know, half of all of our family trees are female. So what are some sort of different sources that you've used in order to identify women and their maiden names?
So I am a digger, and I look for any type of record that would have been generated that concerns a female. One of the things that I look for are family mementos, because women, if they are literate, they're writing letters, they have keepsakes and things like that. That may not necessarily help with the maiden name, but it may help give you a path for looking for other things that may help with a maiden name. So I like to look for ephemera, and then I also look for things that keep track of daily lives, like diaries and journals. And one of my probably favorite resources right now is store ledgers. And so we think about our early ancestors' lives, and they are living in rural areas. They need their basic supplies from the local store. And so the store merchant is going to keep track of the daily transactions that happen at the store. So that's called a day book. And he will write the date, and then each person who has an account number. And so there will be an account number that's associated most often with a male, the head of the household. Women will be there as well as widows. They have taken over their husband's accounts. They will also be in there as single women. Because they are able to transact business on their own in the colonial times. They're not under the cover of their husband, which is called femme couvert. So we find women in store ledgers like that. But when you look at each entry in a day book, the clerk in the store is writing down the account holder's name. The clerk also often writes down who is the person coming into the store who's transacting the business. Often it's a wife, it will be a son, it will be a daughter, and sometimes the names are included with identifying who it is. And so in New York in particular, the 1700s and 1800s are the times that I'm using most of these store ledgers. The clerk may identify a father-in-law, a mother-in-law, or just the family members, because they are living near each other with each other, and various family members are going to the store. It's not necessarily the account holder that's going to the store. So those are in the day books. Then once at some point the clerk is going to move that information because a purchase has been made, and often the purchase, the sale, is not paid right then and there because it's barter society. So the entry then is moved to what's called an account book. And so that number of the account that's in the day book is the page number in the account book often. So you have John Smith in the day book with number 10, account number. You go to the account book to page 10, and there's John Smith. And you have his debts that he bought from the store on one side of the page. And then you have his credits, how he paid on the other side. And they're not always at the same time. Because he'll buy some things, come 4 times a month, and then at the end of the month there's one payment in barter often for what he paid. And it will say who paid as well. So it could say a wife came into the store to pay. So that is how I'm picking up females in these ledgers. And I was just working on one case in the Mohawk Valley where I thought I had figured out the maiden name of the wife. But there was nothing concrete, just I was picking up little hints, and I thought, she's got to be the daughter of this one couple. But the published genealogy doesn't have her in it. And so I kept thinking, there's got to be something that's going to confirm my suspicions.
Right.
I found it in the daybook.
In the daybook.
And there she is, daughter Rebecca.
Nice.
For this account holder.
Nice.
So
and it's just something that wasn't created for the purpose of, recording her birth or anything like that, but that's
daily activities.
Her daily activities. That is fascinating.
Yeah. So you have to think about what the women were doing.
Right.
And where a record might have recorded something that they were doing in their daily lives. And that would be church records. What are these women doing?
Right.
And if they're married, they're going, as I said, they're femme covert. They're under the cover of their husband.
Right. And that's one of the frustrating things about researching females is that so many of their records are tied up under their husband. You were telling me earlier about a probate case that you were looking at, and I think that we tend to not think about probate for females because females typically didn't own a lot of property, so when they died, they typically didn't have probate. But tell me about that case again that you had found.
Yes. So with probate, you and for any time you're researching a woman, you have to research the men in their lives, and that goes without saying. And just you have to research the men in their lives. So this one case that I'm working on again for a client has the will, which was written in 1820. And this one was actually in Ohio.
And this is the will of the husband?
No, this is the will of the father.
Oh, the will of the father. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the will of the father states his wife and his sons, and then in the fourth clause it says, "To my 4 daughters," and he names his daughters, each of his daughters, with their married name. So he says, Kate Smith. Lately, Kate Jones, and Jones is the father's name. So he's identifying his daughters both by their maiden names and then by their married names.
Nice.
Which is, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah.
And so he's right there in the will, he's saying these are my daughters and these are their maiden names.
That's awesome. And you're making that connection that, yes, this woman that you have seen married to this other man, because you've got the husband's name already, and just being able to tie it all together through the will. And like you said, it's researching the men in the lives that can give us the answers about the females.
Yeah. So cluster research. So it's I think across the board, no matter where you're researching, you need to research the people surrounding your person.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thank you for that advice and that insight. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be checking out some store ledgers and see if I can find those. Those sound fascinating. Jane, if people want to find out more about you, where can they find out more?
They can find me on my website. It's Forget Me Not Ancestry with the number 4. I'm all over the internet. Jane E. Wilcox and Forget Me Not Ancestry.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane, for joining us.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.